So welcome back, students. We will just continue with our example pleurobrachia. So we were discussing about the gastrovascular system seen in pleurobrachia. So the mouth leads into the pharynx into the esophagus, and esophagus into the stomach, and then there is an aboral canal which ends in the anal canal. Then there are the side transverse canals. The transverse canal is divided into meridional canal, and there are the tentacular canal. The meridional canal, it is seen closely associated with the meridional plates or the scom plates, and most of the digestion, it is completed extracellularly, and that is in the stomoidium, and undigested food passes out either the mouth or the anal pores. So undigested food passes either by this anal pore region or by the mouth itself. And this aboral sense organ, that is the statocyst. On the aboral side, there is an organ called as an aboral sense organ. It is also called as a statocyst. And this animal, it is an hermaphrodite, that is both the sexes are present in the same individual. They each gonad, it is made up of the two bands, and one ovary and the other testis, and they are situated in the gastrovascular canals under this comb plate. Under this comb plate, you can see there are the gonads. The mature ova and the sperm are the discharged into the canals and finally escape by the mouth. And the fertilization, generally it is external, and the egg develops into the cedipede larva. The eggs develop into the cedipede larva, and which has a superficial resemblance to the adult, into which it directly develops. So cedipede larva, it closely resembles with this adult in structure. So that's the structural details of Ctenophora. So as an overview, we can see in pleurobrachia there are the 8 comb rows. There is an apical sense organ. There are the tentacles are there. So these are the structural overview of Ctenophora. They are the diploblastic, or they are diploblastic, but so-called mesoglea is present. So in some papers you can see they are also called as a triploblastic. The symmetry, it is biradial, and they are the predatory and purely carnivores, and the tentacles, they can extend up to the 100 times, and they can be retracted into this tentacular sheet, and the food sticks to these tentacles, and then they wipe them off into their mouth. And the coloblast, which is present on these tentacles, help them in feeding. So what are these coloblasts? This is a structure of the coloblast which is seen on the tentacles near to the mouth, and it is anchored in the muscle. It has a straight filament, and there is a spiral filament, and it has an adjacent head region with numerous secretory granules, and there are the many associated neurons are also present, and the granules are replaced. Once these granules are secreted or burst out, these granules are again replaced. So this is a microscopic structure of a coloblast cell. You can see this is a structure, if the cross section of a wall of a tentacle. If you take a cross section, these cells are the coloblast, which is embedded in the muscle fibers. This is a mesoglial cells muscle fibers, and there are the amoeboid cells. You can see here in between amoeboid cells are present, and this is the core region. So on either side of these mesoglial cells there are the coloblast, and this is a correct cross-sectional view of a tentacle. If you take a cross-section of a tentacle, at the center you can see the tentacle core, which is surrounded by the mesenchyme cells, and certain muscle fibers are also there, and which is surrounded by the numerous coloblasts. This is a cross-sectional view, and this is a transverse view. So this is a colored cross-section of a tentacle. This is an individual cell. It is having a head region. Coloblast cells, it is having a head region. It is made up of adhesive papilla, and there is a straight filament in the center, and it is a spiral filament is also present. This is a highly magnified view of coloblast. And the feeding, as we have discussed earlier in detail, or the gastrovascular system contains a mouth, pharynx, gastrovascular canals are there, then digestion is extracellular and intracellular, and the waste are removed either through the mouth or through the anal pores. So once again, the coloblast, they are the sticky retractile tentacle used to catch the prey, and this coloblast discharge an adhesive thread which is sticky to touch. This granules, when it breaks out, when the contents gets in contact with the air, it becomes sticky to touch. And there are also some species on which the species of Pleurobrachia on which the coloblasts are absent. An excretory system, there are the flame cells similar to that of the Platyhelminthes. You will see what are these flame cells in Platyhelminthes in detail. And digestion we have discussed in detail. There is a nervous system, a nerve network under the meridional plates of cilia. Then there is an aboral sense organ, or it is also called as a apical sense organ, which is considered as a part of nervous system. So this is a aboral side region, or the close view of the aboral side or the apical region of a Pleurobrachia. So at the center you can see the apical sense organ. It is dome shape. There is a statolith at the center, or that is called as a stone, and there are the balances. You can see balances, a pair of balances are present, and there is a ciliated furrow. This is a ciliated furrow. You can see ciliated lining of the statocyst. The whole structure is also called as a statocyst. Aboral sense organ or apical sense organ, or it is also called as a statocyst. It consists of a central stone-like structure called as a statolith. The whole aboral sense organ appears like a dome shape on the aboral side of Pleurobrachia. The statolith is held in the position with the help of a pair of or two pairs of balancers. Then there is a ciliated furrow. This apical sense organ is located on the aboral end opposite to that of the mouth, and it is this aboral sense organ or the apical sense organ that controls the beating of the cilia here. So this beating of the cilia, it is controlled by this aboral sense organ. This the aboral sensory receptor, it is actually concerned with the equilibrium of the body, and any change in the position of the body alters the center of gravity and upsets the equilibrium of the body. Consequently, the statolith exerts a more pressure on this balancer on the inclined side. If this organism, it's while moving, if it is inclined to one side, that means towards a one side, to any of the side, if it is inclined, this organism is inclined, then that information will be received by this statolith through the nervous system or the nervous network, and this statolith exerts a pressure on the inclined side balancer, or the balancer which is seen on the inclined side. Towards the left it is inclined. The balancer on the left hand side will exert a pressure, and this balancer stimulate or carries the impulses through this groove, and this impulse reaches the cilia, and the cilia starts beating vigorously, and at that time it again shifts to the normal position. So once again, if the position is inclined towards the right, what happens? These balancers on the left hand side will be exerting a pressure which will be passed on to the groove and reaches the cilia, and the cilia starts beating on this side, and it gets shifted to the normal position. This pleurobrachia comprises of a good nerve network. A good nerve network is present and provides the feedback to the apical sense organ, and it helps to coordinate between the adjacent rows of cilia and controls the muscle movement also. And the body also receives the sensation of touch, light, and the vibration, the temperature, and also the certain chemicals with the help of this nervous system. Then the reproduction, as we have said, that they are the hermaphrodite and they self-fertilized. The gonads are present. Then adults generally die off after spawning, and polyspermy and the female choice is also there, and the egg nucleus chooses a sperm nucleus. So the fertilized egg are released into the water, and the egg develops into a cdipid larvae. Egg develops into the cdipid larvae, and this resembles superficially as that of the adult, into which it directly develops. So this is a picture of a developing cdipid larvae. So that's all in this video lecture. There we come to an end of the example pleurobrachiae. So you have to study this example in detail, and several short notes can be asked from this section, that is what are coloblast, colocytes, then cdipid larvae, then arboreal sense organ. So these are the short notes that can be asked. That's all in this video lecture. Thank you.